Well, welcome everyone. My name is Brenton House. I lead up the developer relations program for Axway, and I have the privilege of being able to talk to you for a couple minutes about managing microservices. And I am really excited about what I get to show you today, just because it's one of our brand new products. It's just came into public beta not that long ago, so it's very exciting. Before I dive into the demo, I wanted to give you just a quick high-level view of our platform. So that's Axway Amplify is our platform. So Axway Amplify is a hybrid integration platform. So that's a multi-tenant SaaS-based platform designed to speed up your discovery, use of, and deployment of your services to your customers. So our Amplify platform, the portfolio is quite large, so I'm not going to be talking about all of that today, but we're going to be focusing on AMPLIFY Central for this. So let's talk about API management. So if you start at the bottom here, you can see that Amplify API management is both cloud-based and on-prem. We also provide the tools to allow you to build, manage, analyze, and extend your APIs before you deploy them to your customers. So this is Amplify Central. This is our newest product. It is a control plane, which is hosted by Axway, which can be connected to and manage one or more service meshes. And the example you see here is it's connected to 3 different hybrid clouds. For the demo today, I'm going to show just connecting to one, just to kind of help you visualize how it acts as a control plane and can manage both on-prem and cloud. So with that, let me switch gears here quick to go to the demo. All right, so here you see this is our platform home screen. It's on platform.axway.com. Like I said, it's in public beta right now. I'm going to go over to mesh governance, and I'm going to click on Amplify Central so that we can load up this, and I can show you a little bit, a couple of the features here. So you can see there's a menu on the left. It has a lot of options, more than I'm going to be able to talk about today, but I welcome you to come in here and just take a look at and try out some of these. So I'm going to start with services. It's just going to show you how I have this set up here today. So you see Axway Cloud is over there. That's the public cloud that comes with Amplify Central. So you can see there's 2 runtimes, a production runtime and a test runtime. Now underneath that is Quick Demo. Now that is a private cloud that we have set up, and it is set up, it's running on AWS and a single client running Kubernetes. So that's set up for this demo so I could save some time and show you there, but you can see we have 1 runtime in that service. So I am going to go over and let's proxy some APIs. So let's add some APIs. So if we go over to API proxies, what you see here is one right now, which is musical instruments. So these are APIs that we've chosen to expose through the Axway cloud. So the musical instruments is one that is built in. When you go and you get your instance of it, you'll see, hey, do you want to just create a sample API? And this is an in-memory one that you can add, and it's hosted on the Axway cloud. So let's go and add another API here. So I'm going to go to Swagger file. I'm going to let's pick the Star Wars one here. So you get this screen. I'm going to change this to Star Wars, and let's call that Star Wars 2. All right. So I'm going to hit save on this, and it brings up a screen. Do you want to test and configure? Yes. So what this screen here shows that you have the option of deploying this now. We can expose this on both of the runtimes on the Axway public cloud, which is the test runtime and the production runtime, as well as the quick demo. So we're just going to go ahead and deploy this to all 3 real quickly. All right. Now you can see we get the test method. So you can see the endpoints that we have exposed here. I'm going to pick one. Let's pick API film, and you can see I want to test this. Let's try this against the test environment. So we hit execute. And we get back some films. All right, I can do the same thing. I can change this to the quick demo so that this is now running on the private cloud. I'm going to execute. You can see we get same kind of results. I can also go over here to API Observer, and you can see some of the recent traffic that we've run through this. So I click on Star Wars. I'm going to click on one of these, and you can now see some of the request and response headers that when we were just calling the Star Wars. So that was an example of exposing an API. So this is calling out to the Star Wars API that someone set up. So we have the API and Axway Cloud. We have an API, an external API. Now let's go expose an API that we have on our private cloud. So I'm going to go back to our services here. I'm going to click on our quick demo, which is our private cloud. You can see that we have two services down here, the hybrid list and the sunset. So I'm going to go to the hybrid list. This is the Swagger for it. So I'm going to click on the expose through proxy. So what we did when we hit expose through proxy, that basically did the same thing as when we went and loaded a Swagger. So we're on the same kind of screen. I'm just going to accept the defaults. It's going to create a MyList API. I'm going to test and configure this. Now on this one, you notice that we only have the option to deploy this on Quick Demo. This is because this is a private API that's on our private cloud, and we're not going to allow it to be exposed through our public cloud. So I'm going to deploy this on the private cloud. Again, we can go then to test methods. Let's go to list, execute, and you can see for this API, it returned back an empty array. So if we go down, you can see some of the other endpoints that we have here. We have a post. So let's go in there, and I don't know, it doesn't really matter what we put in here, but I'm going to put in just an API and test. All right, so I'm going to hit create. We got a response. Now we're going to go back up to list. I'm going to call that again, and you can see that there's one in the array there. So you saw there was two services when we went to the services on the private cloud. Let me click again on quick demo, so you can see there was hybrid, a list, and there was also sunset. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm going to click on Swagger, expose through proxy, and I'm just going to go ahead and accept defaults and save that as well. Now when we go and test and configure this one, this is an API setup to find out the time of sunset. So I deploy this to the private cloud. I go to test methods, and we're going to execute this here. Let's put in a city. Let's put in one of my favorite cities here, Austin, and execute. And it's going to fail. And the reason for that is this private cloud is now trying to make a call out to an external API, and so it's going to fail. So, but what we can do to make this work then is we can add what's called Egress Policy. So I am going to go back to the services here, quick demo, and I'm going to click on sunset. Let's go back here. Here you can see the plus sign next to sunset, and I'm going to click on that. It defaults to add egress policy. We're going to do that. We're going to switch to HTTPS. And because I know that this API is making a call out to openweathermap.org, I'm going to put that in there. And now that's going to allow that. So now let's go back real quick to the API proxies, where we have the sunset app. Go back to test methods. Let's put in Austin again. Execute. And now you can see we get something else. So let's see here. Okay. So we are able to make a call out. However, it seems like we're getting a 404 on that API right now. So you can see that you get 404 in the response, and then if we could look in the logs and see that as well. If their API was up, then we would get back a successful 200 with the time of the Austin sunset. But obviously we are getting a different response, though, that we are getting out. Now, when we add that policy, there was other policies there. So I'm going to go back once again to the quick demo, and you can see the hybrid list, and there's other policies we can add. So let's try see what other policy. Let's add a rate limiting policy to that my list. So we're going to leave default to any. Let's say you can make one call in 5 seconds. We're going to apply that. We're going to go back over here to our API proxies. We applied that policy to the my list, so we're going to go to the test methods, and we're going to call this again. Okay, so you can see we're getting back one list. So I'm going to hit it a few times to trigger the rate limiting, and then you can see now that we get a response by resource exhausted, quota is exhausted. So that's one of the examples of the policy. The product's in beta right now. We're going to have other policies that we're adding that you can add to these as well. So let me go back here to our proxy. So you can see here that we have the musical instruments, which was, I didn't go into the test methods on that yet, but you can see that this is an API, in-memory API running on Axway Cloud. We have the Star Wars API, which was an external API. We had My List, which was hosted on our private cloud, and we had the Sunset app, which was also hosted on the private cloud, but also made a call out to a public API. So we showed using some of the rate limiting policy as well as some of the egress policy. There's a lot more that that we don't necessarily have time to go through and look at all of this, but I welcome you to go to platform.axway.com, register, and start taking a look at what you can do with some of this. So let me switch back here. We have we also, like I said, you can sign up at platform.axway.com, but we also have some other resources in our community. We have developer.axway.com, where we have a lot of developer information. We have recently launched devblog.axway.com, where check that out. We have different categories, both of our mobile and our API products there. Community.axway.com and Marketplace. So check out these. The slides are going to be available, as well as the video. I know I went through it kind of quick, and there's a lot of information, but there's more information in the slide deck that you'll be able to download afterwards than you saw here, to kind of give you a little bit more information about AMPLIFY Central. So thank you for your time.